Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Landscaping to the Point. I am live here with JC from Boston, my best friend from Boston. What's up, JC? How's everything going today?
What's happening, Scott? Just another day on the live stream on the podcast here. Excited to talk about some good things today.
Yeah, it's
Catching
real
up on
good. I
some
mean,
stuff.
it's been a while since we've been on. It's been a couple since before Mother's Day. I mean, because we did one that Thursday before Mother's Day. So,
Mhm.
welcome everybody to Landscaping to the Point, where we get straight to the point. Welcome everybody on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're listening to us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, that's awesome too. Leave a like, comment. Leave a comment on Instagram. I see a couple guys are on Instagram now. Cameron Property Maintenance. Welcome to the top of the morning to you.
What's up, Cameron?
So we are. The show is just amazing. I mean, I've talked to some people, and I even had some of my customers come out and say that they love our show. They are actually listening to my show, and they enjoy every little bit of it. So thank you guys for all listening. So today, I don't know if Josh is going to show up. He had just texted. He's probably saying that he ain't got no internet, so that's normal with him. Oh, he said he just woke up. Wow, he slept in. Man, he must have been really
You just
tired.
woke up?
Yeah, that's what he says. So,
Oh gosh,
uh, John from Ferris Mowers, welcome, morning, sir. Um,
Ferris.
so I had some people ask about mowers the other day, and I said, "Well, go get a Ferris." This is the funny thing. I said, "Go get a Ferris." They say they're the number one brand out there. And the guy goes, "Well, no, I don't think they are. I think Skag is." I said, "Well, nobody will come on except for Ferris." So Ferris is the top brand in my book right now. So that's always awesome. Uh, so the topic of this week is promo. I had a couple of guys from another part of the green industry all over the place asking me, do I do any promos? Um, and I was kind of wondering, JC, have you ever done a promo to get customers? I know you do a bunch of stuff you around your neighborhood and stuff. Did you ever go out and try to do like a promo, like say $30, one time mow or anything special?
Yeah. Well, at first when you said promo, I'm thinking the first thing that came to mind was like social media, like plugs and stuff like that. And then yeah, that's all right. Maybe we could talk about that too at some.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get into all this. I mean, there's a lot of things we can talk about promo wise. I mean, I think there's, especially nowadays, social media. I know, like, there's ads that you get in the mail, like, like I get all the time from True Green, saying, "Hey, 29.99, we'll do your first application." Yeah, that's awesome, but what's my, final bill going to be after, once I get the second application? Is it going to be $100? What, I love promos, but it's like what entices us, really. That's the main thing. And there's so many different things going out there. But back to you, what was you have you done a promo to get more customers in your area before?
Yeah, and it was kind of a mistake just being a new guy in the field, starting up, man. And I've learned from it, and I think that's the most important part is that you learn from it. But I'm actually embarrassed to kind of admit what I did. Like I would offer the first cut free.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of them. I see that a lot in our area of like people that like, hey, we'll give you the first cut free. Um, I think one of mine was if you went with me for the first year, right? It was probably like 5 years into business. It was if you stayed with us for the whole season, I give you your last cut for free for the year before fall cleanup, which
Mm.
always worked out pretty good because at that point we knew that we had this customer. I was always worried about if you had that customer and you said, okay, I'll give you the first cut. Are they going to stick around for more than one cut?
Mm.
That's why I always kind of leered away from like doing the first cut free.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it kind of devalues yourself, and I could understand someone going in, starting off, just hungry for customers and trying to get their name out there and trying to get business and stuff like that. And, we all know word of mouth is probably one of the best strategies, or at least one of the best ways to get more clients and stuff like that. And sometimes, like, you got to let your work speak for itself. I mean, if your work's quality, then it's gonna bring the attention of your customers and others. But yeah, I did that. I did your first free cut. But the problem was is that like I didn't have any. I was part time. I didn't have any customers that were contracted. So it's like I could have had 3, 4, 5 people take me up on my offer of cutting their lawn for free, and then see you later. They never call you back, and and it's kind of a wasted day and a waste of resources and supplies and stuff. So like and then another thing too is like I tried with it was if you refer somebody, then uh, I'll do a free cut for you. And that hopefully in that way you end up gaining something long term with with another customer, and hopefully it's somebody nearby that they live, so it's kind of within your route density. But a lot of failed attempts, Scott. It was just me trying to kind of figure out and be fancy and be cute with the way I tried to market myself. And but at
Yeah,
the
I
end,
think.
it just
Go
got
ahead. Yeah.
simple with the simplified with just the word of mouth and going from there.
Yeah, I think there's so many different ways you can do things. Um, we always do one that if you recommend a customer, we'll give you 20% off of one service. Um, and usually we'll get customers throughout the year, but a lot of times the new customers don't tell us who they recommended. So you don't know who you're giving the 20% to. So it's like, and then in the long run, you'll find out like months down the road. So it's like, if they don't let me know right away, you know, sorry, like I'm just going to keep going on. But I mean, that's one way thing. John over on Instagram says door tags or flyers, which work better for us. Um, have you done flyers or door hangers?
I did door hangers.
Door hangers. Okay.
Yeah, I did door hangers, and I might have mentioned it before in a past podcast, but um, I would have a tear off card attached to my door hanger where I'd put a stamp on that tear off card, and if a customer wanted to fill out their information on one side, all they'd have to do is throw it in the mailbox, like old school, throw it in the
Yeah.
mailbox with their name, their phone number, their address, and or I also leave them my phone number if they want to reach me, a more modern way. But I got
Right.
a few of them that way. They because where I live, like it's rural. There's not a lot of like, um, post office around. People just leave them in their mailbox, and the post carrier would take it, and then you know, and I got a few of them that way. It worked out. One of them was a house that was for sale that was empty. It was abandoned, but the realtor was kind of working on trying to market it and sell it. And it was actually up the street. I actually called them, their office. They never got back to me, but I did leave a door hanger, and they didn't mail it in, but they did contact me back from the mail hanger. So yeah, I mean, door hanger, I should say. So yeah,
Okay. So now me, I use postcards. Pretty much we use postcards. So it's a double sided. It's got a picture of of one of our jobs on the front, has our name on it. What we do is we usually go and try to do doors. We'll put them on the doors. We'll put them in between the doors if we can. We'll go ahead into the mailboxes because usually in our area, a lot of the mailboxes have for paper underneath. Pretty much, you can't put them in the mailbox because it's against the law. And like JC said, the post carrier will literally take it away. So if you have one of those mailboxes that have the little under part, we'll go ahead and put the postcards underneath, and that's how we'll market our business. And then also by buying so many postcards, if we need to, we can go ahead and put a stamp on it, put an address on it, mail it out to a customer, and still be able to reuse them in all multiple different ways. So for us, postcards are the way to go. I think they've worked out better for us. We've done flyers in the past. I know when we first started, we did flyers. We did, I think we did like 1,000 flyers, and we didn't get as much people. But like you said, JC, a lot of it's word of mouth anymore. You get recommended by customers, and they'll recommend you more than you will put in a postcard in a yard or a flyer in a thing. Or one thing we are seeing this year is we're seeing a lot more if you're there at the job at the right time.
Yeah.
We're running the landscape crew this year, two crews this year. So we're getting more calls and more stops by people seeing us and seeing us do the work, that they're like, hey, I see that you're doing a work right here. Can you come down to my house? And that's typical, because in our area, like, you get into the pool guys in our area, they are like, once they get in one neighborhood, they're pretty much there in that neighborhood or the neighborhood next to it for pretty much the whole summer, because it's like they start one pool and it's like, hey, the guy 2 doors down is like, hey, I want a pool. The other guy across the street, hey, I want a pool. So they're literally just sticking in those neighborhoods because it's route density, first off, but then also you're getting that word of mouth out there that you're right there because you've been there for 2-3 months doing a job. Boom, you're right there. They're going to want to know that information because you're there. You're going to be able to hopefully service them real quick and get to them. And I think that's helped us this year by having the 2 trucks running in a lot of new areas and all together. So, and that's what helps us.
I know some guys that it's not a particular landscape company, but they park their vehicles like on this main road where their vehicles are wrapped or whatever, or there's a sign on their vehicle with the phone number and stuff. And it's a busy road, so a lot of cars go by. That could be a strategy to do that. And then it's an idea. I don't know. I've never tried it. I've never done it. I don't know if anybody else has done that, but like in your personal vehicle, like you could buy magnetic signs. It was what Scott, what your thoughts are as far as like placing a magnet with your logo on it in your personal vehicle as you go run errands. And, maybe you're at the Walmart parking lot and it says, landscape by Acme on your personal car with a phone number on there. So someone puts their groceries in their car and I do need a landscaper. Here's one right here. I'll take this number down.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, definitely it's a good way to get your name out there, and to be able to put it out there. But a lot of times people kind of look at that too. But I think, to me, if I seen somebody like a landscaper on a car, I kind of worry, like, does he have the right equipment? That's the main thing I kind of look at sometimes. It's always good to have your stuff logoed up. If you can get your truck logoed up, your trailer logoed up, if you have a trailer that you can do like an enclosed or a dump trailer, and then just being able to be having your shirts logoed up. I think that's one of the main things that stands out there. Putting a name on a car, yeah, it gets your name out there, but it depends on what type of business you're in.
Yeah, I think too. Like I think we were talking a year ago, last year, something like that, about like putting your vehicles in like in a town parade, and then like giving out, like keychains or whatever,
right?
Beer koozies with your logo on it. There is, no matter how you go about doing it, you could choose 2 different ways or many different ways. You could, you're going to invest. You're going to have to invest in whether it's a little bit or a lot, depending on how much you want to get your name out there. But absolutely, postcards are perfect for that, and they're effective. They're cheap, so there's no really excuse not to do anything like that. At the end of the day, you don't promote yourself, you're not gonna make any business.
Right, and I think you need to. Ferris John said, guys out here in Connecticut love lawn signs, and Brandon the Booker also says lawn signs for the win. What do you think about lawn signs now? And how would you put them out? I see a lot of guys put them out like on a yard. See, and this is what gets me sometimes is we do a couple big main corners, okay? And if we're doing a main corner on a business, I don't like coming back and seeing somebody else's company lawn sign on it. And I think that's, if you're going to put a lawn sign on a corner, make sure that you have permission by the person that's either maintaining the property or the person that lives there, because I feel like you upset other landscapers that are coming there and that are there weekly, that are like, hey, well, I'm here doing the lawn. Why would you put the sign here? They are good. I think they get your name out there awesomely, especially if you're doing a landscape job, or if you want to promote in that neighborhood. You're putting out your sign there saying, hey, look at this. I maintain this yard. This is something I've done. It lets the other people that drive by that to know this. But like I said, kind of make sure that this is something that you're doing and not something that somebody else does. And it kind of irks me a little bit more, on certain things like that. So,
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree. Sometimes you see them every now and then. Like I think, especially like with the roofing companies, they'll leave their lawn sign out there, or for even after the job is completed, and it's kind of up to the customer. Sometimes customers just get lazy and they don't take them down. Like
right.
on my street, there's a solar company that's been coming around, and they caught a few people to sign up for their services and have their solar panels installed, and they put out lawn signs, and the job's been done. It's been like 5 months later, and they're just the homeowner's just lazy to take it down, but it's free advertising for the company to do that.
Right.
I think too, a good idea would be is if you have like a friend that runs a different business, like maybe a little like restaurant or like a coffee shop or something like that, is like, ask them, help each other out. Ask them if you could put like a sign on his property or her property, and or something on the bulletin board, that you could do that too.
Right. And I think that's awesome. And I think it's free advertisement, like you said. People are going to see your sign and, when they're driving by, and like Brandon the Booker says, it's a billboard. It's a mini billboard. You're not paying for that really. If you're maintaining that customer, ask that customer, say, hey, can I put this sign in your yard? Even if you're doing it for 1 week, like a lot of times after we do certain jobs, we'll ask the customer, hey, can we put the sign in here? We'll come back 2 weeks. We'll pull it out in 2 weeks. I don't think leaving the sign there for 2-3 months is going to benefit you, because, things change in 2-3 months, and it also depends on the customer. Like, I feel like also for us, if we're maintaining the landscaping, we're maintaining the lawn, we want to have that sign in there as long as we can. But if we're not doing, if we're just in there to do the landscape and somebody else is doing the mowing, or they're doing the mowing, that long, the customer could be like, oh, I'm not going to mow for the next 3 weeks. And then the grass is tall. And then somebody drives by and says, wow, they maintain this. Acme maintains this. Like, I don't know if I want to call them, because this yard is way out of hand. So putting yard signs in is awesome. Just be diligent on when you're going to go ahead and pull those out, because like I said, you don't want them sitting in an empty lot that's taller than the grass, taller than the sign. And, they see just the top part, like Acme, and it's all covered up. Like, you want to be able to see that sign and be able to make sure that it looks good. So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So now you said something earlier about social. So how are you going to promo your company on social? Have you seen any good ones on like Instagram or anything?
Yeah. I don't know if particular good ones. There's a lot of good ones. And starting off, you just got to dive right into the deep end and just keep on blasting content left and right, all over. Like, if you're going to start a social media page, obviously try to make as many friends as you can with the friends that you already have in your personal life. Just like, hey, follow my landscaping page, and reach out to your friends to kind of help support you from there. But you just got to keep on loading up content, and people love seeing before and afters. Like, that's why a lot of the YouTube channels that do like abandoned yards get so much attention, because they love to see the before, they love to see the afters. So just kind of showcase your work and just put as much as you can. Eventually you'll gain some more following, and and going back to, like, obviously I don't like to make the point of being sponsored by a product, but like, if you use a product and you really, really, truly believe in that product, go ahead and put content on that. And, if you continue doing that, you might grab the attention of maybe a company to send you products and stuff like that. That's the route that you're looking for. But
Right.
again, I know I'm kind of sidetracking, going back to business perspective and promoting yourself. I just think, like we said earlier, that is your work speaks for itself, and
Right.
if you showcase that and put it out there so that people could see, then people are going to appreciate it.
Correct. So here's one for you. And I know Josh has this, and we started one, but we don't post on it much. what do you think of having two separate Instagram accounts? One that is like for your friends and one for your business. I know a lot of companies just use it all for it's everything. It's like their whole it's everything. It's kind of like everything. But then there's some that are separate. What's your thoughts on that? I wish Josh was on because I know kind of some of his thoughts, but I'd like to know your thoughts on it, Jason.
I'm a firm believer in keeping two separate accounts. You separate your personal one from your business one. I mean, people could know from your personal one that you have a business account, and you could definitely highlight yourself on your business account, but you have to be a different person. Like, people might want to get a sense of who you are as an individual, but there's going to be some things that they like and some things that they don't like if you're putting personal content on your business page, and you kind of have to put your best foot forward when it comes to a business account. um, and sometimes we might not realize it, that if you're going to go and put personal things like personal beliefs and even stuff that you follow, like let's say, for example, I merged my business account and my personal account, and I'm starting to like other content that has nothing to do with my business, like Sports Illustrated, bikini pictures and stuff like that. I don't think your customers are going to want to really see that you're following that type of content. And again, that's just an example, but like even like political beliefs or religious beliefs or just anything like that, I think you just kind of have to separate that, make it simple, keep it a business focused account. But then if you want to go and enjoy your own personal things, then you use your personal account for those things. And I could understand too that if someone really wants to do their research and they're looking at your business page, they may find your personal account, and that's fine. But I think at the very least they could respect the fact that you're keeping things away from the business end of things, and then you're being your own individual on a personal account. I'm a firm believer, keep it separate. There's a couple things you could throw in there, but at the end of the day, like, just organize it, keep it separate, and focus on what the goal is for that account.
Right. Right. I agree with you on that mostly. I feel like, yeah, you can show some personal stuff, but yeah, like you're saying, like your beliefs and stuff, your religious beliefs, and there's certain things I think that, yeah, you should keep private early. I mean, everything doesn't need to be aired on your business account if that's the case. Like, you know, I feel like there's some Instagram, influencers and YouTube influencers that literally show every little detail. And I think, if you're promoting your brand, you don't need to be promoting like everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they just promote everything and anything. Like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Come watch me get this gallon of milk. I got the best silk milk ever. Like, dude, we don't need to know that. I get that you're an influencer and you're trying to promote that stuff, but I don't think you need to promote every little bit of your life. There's not everybody needs to know everything. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just like and also too, like what your goal is to grow your business account, and if you're looking to have companies like Ferris, or even you want to be a UAG member, Echo Means Business, those are things these companies are going to look for when they, if they do potentially think, want to consider you for a role in their, representing their company and stuff like that. And if you're having too many personal things on there, and they're going to have to be cognizant of that in their decision whether or not they want to have you represent them. So it's like, have your personal stuff aside, and that's fine, but put your best foot forward on a professional level. And I think people appreciate the professionalism.
Yes, I do too. I think showing your work off is definitely one of the main things that you should be doing on your business account at all times. I think we promote and we try to get more, like you were saying, there's always people trying to get into a group or getting a brand to sponsor them. And it's always good to have somebody sponsor you. I have sponsors. This show has a sponsor. it's always awesome to have that type of sponsors to back you up for things. But I think there's always a time to promote that, and there's always a time to promote your business. But we're all business people out here. If we're all trying to promote our business, so promote it the right way, because every time we do something like this, we do something, anything on internet, everything that it pulls up. It's kind of funny because my son was he was looking up something for school, and they had to look up their parents or something on Google, and they looked up me, and they were like, "Wow, Dad, when we looked up your name on Google, it popped up 400 different things, and I'm like, well, that's because I do the podcast, I do my business, I've done magazines, I've done video on all kinds of stuff. So I think how you promote yourself, put your brand out there the way you want it to be put out there, and that's a good thing, the way you want your brand to be put out there. Just remember how you put yourself out there, because it's once you're out there, it's out there. So
yeah.
What kind of things would you promote that on Instagram? Would you promote like a deal like that? Like, hey, if you come, I can cut your grass. Would you promote something like that?
So, all right, to answer that question, I'm gonna give an example.
Ooh, I like this one.
A business example. So before you promote anything, you need to see if it works first. Okay. And the example that I'll use is like fast food chains, like your Dunkin' Donuts, your McDonald's,
But what if I just want to eat a donut?
Everybody. I
think that's what Josh is doing right now. He's eating donuts without.
He's minus 75 and soft.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he turned to 75 soft. Yep.
Yeah. But so even big corporate companies will try certain business strategies in smaller markets. So like man, the McRib. The McRib, like that. Right. When it first came out, or when a new product first comes out on a fast food market, like they'll only try it in like certain areas in the country. You'll have like Connecticut or like Georgia or California, and then they test the market, and then they see if there's a draw to it with people interested in that product and purchasing it. And then once they see that it is successful, then they introduce it to the rest of the country. So on a smaller scale, when it comes to lawn care or whatever services that you're offering, try it out first with your word of mouth customers, or even your closer friends who are customers, or your family members who are customers. See if that promotion works. And then if you find success for it in a small scale, then be ready to promote it on social media or on the internet, so that it's opened up to a bigger audience or a bigger customer base, and that way, because if it fails, then you're only going to suffer minor losses with that trial, as opposed to pushing it out there on social media and then finding out that, man, I spread this word out there, everybody's interested in it, but now I have losses and I can't take back my word. Right. So now you're kind of in a hole. So I think if you're going to go ahead, promote a deal on social media or promote a deal on your website, play around with it first, through word of mouth, find out if it's working for you. And then once you find out that it's being successful, then try it out on a bigger audience and then promote it from there.
Right. I think that's the best way to do it. Would you promote? Okay. Let's say you want to do a Google ads. I know there's some other guys out there. Josh just finally joined us on Instagram. Morning, Josh. Hopefully you're eating that donut pretty good, buddy. But I know there's a couple guys out there. Pablo from Black Sheep. I did a live with him a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about like Google AdWords. Would you try to promote Google AdWords and like Google like ads to your regular customers first before you would go out to like the bigger audience, or would you just jump right into it and see how it does? And would you go see, I feel like if I was going to do it, I'd go ahead and just do it like a little bit at a time. Let's say like do, a small trial and not try to, get like a huge amount done right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're offering and what your capabilities are as a business, right? So, starting off, my biggest fear was taking on more work than I could do, and
Right.
then having to turn people away, because if people are relying desperate for service and they're relying on someone and they see that you're promoting something and they call you up and you're overwhelmed because you did such a great job with promoting it that you're a one man army and you cannot take in the workload. Now you're starting to deny or reject business that are coming in. I'm sorry, we're busy. We can't do that. And if you're on Google and if you're on, online, then even that denial of work or denying work could potentially lead people to drop negative reviews on you.
Right.
And oh, I called them and they don't honor their word. They're saying that they're looking for new clients or they're offering this and they can't even do the work for you, so I went somewhere else. So just know what your abilities and your limitations are, and then base your business plan off of what those capabilities are, and be able to handle the call volume that's coming in or the requests, be able to answer your emails on time, be able to answer your direct messages on time. Because that's another thing too. People don't like wait around. Example I have going on right now. We were talking about it off the air. Is I had someone come out 2 weeks ago to do an estimate on my basement ceiling. So the guy, the first day he calls and says, hey, I can't come this week. Can I come next week? I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. Give another opportunity. So he does show up the following week. Gives me, basically doesn't give me a price, but he's talking about like, yeah, we could do this here, we could do this here, we could do this here. And he goes, you took measurements. You go, I'll give you a call back on a price. It's been a week after that, and he still hasn't contacted me since. So I'm sorry, 2 weeks. He still hasn't contacted me since. Now, as a customer, I'm waiting around. Like I'm getting a little impatient. Like, does this guy really want this job, or is he coming here just to realize that it's a too small of a job for him? It's not worth it for him. At the very least, tell me. I'd be fine. He'd be like, hey, I don't want to do it. It's too small. I got other stuff. Okay, cool. But now I have a sour taste in my mouth. So what I did is I called another guy to a different business, and similar thing. He wasn't able to come the day before, but then he came the day after. Or I'm sorry, he wasn't able to come the day before, which was yesterday. He's coming today, and hopefully he'll be able. Now he won the job. If he comes today and gives me a good estimate, he won a job because the other guy kind of ghosted me. So if I was somebody else, I might be prone to leave that first person a bad review. He came over, never gave me a price, left me hanging. And maybe it's because it's a case where he doesn't have the workload. Who knows? Whatever it is. But again, if you're promoting something, be ready to answer up to whatever you're offering.
Correct. I feel like no matter what, I mean, we all get busy in our business. I know I've had over the past years to where, I'll get so busy that I don't answer the phone. I'll try. I admit it. I've been that contractor before where, I'll get busy and I don't answer the phone. But I think it's more of, and I've done this in the last 3 years now, to where I've taken the time to, if I get a call and I get a voicemail because I'm out there doing a landscape job or mowing, I'll try to call it back within 24 hours, no matter what. Call it back in 24 hours. Email it back 24 hours. Let them know that, hey, I got your email, I got your call, and then communicate with them. If you're busy, like right now, like we're backed up till June. Literally, it's about communicating to whoever's calling for a job and say, hey, I can come out and give you a quote on that. That's not a problem. But to do the work, you're looking at least, 3-4 weeks before we can come out there. Let them know, because, there, like you said, there's a lot of contractors out there that they get that workload filled and they just, oh yeah, I'll come out and give you an estimate, or I'll come out and do the job, and then they never show up, and I think you got to communicate with the customer right from the bat, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you the quote. You can get the quote, take a week, look at it, come back to me. And then at that point, I'll let you know our schedule. We can go from that point. John from Ferris Motors asked this one question, and I know I've done this kind of before. Have you ever quoted a potential job that way you didn't just deny it? Well, I kind of have, John. I've done that in the past where I'll quote something even higher than I could really, think of in my head at that point. And the problem is you get the job. So at that point, then you have to figure out, okay, when can I do this? How can I do it? And when, get to it as soon as you can. I think that's one of the things is, yeah, there you can price stuff ridiculous anymore. I think right now in our greenest industry, especially right now in the spring, spring's a big Z rush. People want stuff planted, they want their mulch done, they want their beds cleaned out, they want everything done before July, pretty much, because that summer they want to enjoy their summer just like anybody else. So I think what it is if you're going to bid something high, keep on that, because lowering your bid down or your prices down after the fact, it shows to potential customers that if they know that other person that you bid on the same thing, let's say $1,000, and now you're bidding on theirs $500 because you have no work, just because you want the job and you want to get that cash, that's good. But is that going to show that potential customer that you could have went lower on the other price of the other job? It's kind of one of those things is, once you put your bid out there, make sure that you continue to be at that pricing range and keep your pricings straight up across the board, not fluctuate. And I think that's one thing I see a lot of companies do, is they raise their prices because, they're too busy and they don't want the job. But if you're that person that you're showing your knowledge, you're showing your attentiveness to the customer when you're out there, you're answering their needs, answering whatever they can throw at you on a timely matter, they're going to go with you because you show your knowledge and stuff. So always make sure that your prices are straight across the board. Don't fluctuate prices. We try to keep our prices at the same amount as like our mulching, a lot of our services are straight at, a certain amount, and we try to keep that throughout the whole year. I know prices can change at different places, but I think your best bet is to kind of keep them right across the board for your customers.
I think part of success as a business owner is getting to a point within your business that you're able to pick and choose your work comfortably. All right. Because there is different stages when it comes to a business. Starting off, you may be in survival mode and you're trying to get every job that you can, no matter how ideal that job is, just to put food on the table. Or if you've gotten to a point with your business where you're comfortable enough with the income that you're attaining, then you could clearly say no to jobs that he looks like he just came back from church.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, nice little like church Sunday church haircut and a collared shirt on. Look at that, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm saying, like, where you place in your business as far as how comfortable you are, where you get to a point of success where you're able to pick and choose what jobs you want to do. Because, I mean, if you, a lot of time could be wasted if you don't want to do a job, but you're spending time on the property and you're quoting something and your mindset's like, I'm going to quote them real high because I really don't want to do it. Now your energy level, your initiative, your excitement to do the job is not even there. And then you get the job. You're going to have a hard time doing that job. And again, it depends where you're at in your business. If you're hungry and you're going to, by all means, you need to get the money and you really, you quote it high, you don't want to do it, but you get the job done regardless. But if you're successful and you have other potential clients or other potential, places where you can make, focus your attention on to gain more income, then I would just be more direct and be clear cut. No, I can't do this, as opposed to wasting time. And I mean, yeah, it could be a good payday if you quote it high and they bite. But it all depends, again, like I said, everyone's different, but I think if you're at a real successful point in your business, then you do have the option to decide whether you want to do something or not.
Josh, welcome to the show. I know you've been eating donuts all morning, but welcome to the show, buddy. So we're gonna ask you the question because I think you've been in the business just as long as me, and you got some good experience, just like JC and me, and great advice. So, have you ever quoted a potential job so that way you just didn't deny it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to bullshit you. Yeah, I mean, I get what Jensen was saying. Yeah, I was listening before I actually got on, and there's absolutely truth to that. But to be completely transparent, I've done both ways. I've priced the job high enough that if I got it, I wanted to do it. But I do believe what JC's saying, there's some validity behind that, where like you'll get that job and you kind of resent the fact that you get it because you didn't want it in the first place. So sometimes you're better off walking away from that to take something you like. But I guess when you're hungry, and you got to take the jobs. And on the other hand, I've also been the guy that I've been so overwhelmed with estimates and inquiries that sometimes the smaller estimates will slip through the cracks and you'll forget them, and it sucks to be that guy, but the reality is that can happen. And I think that happens when you're not delegating certain tasks to people and trying to wear all hats in your company when you have people with you, and that can be a bad look because you don't want to get that reputation as you're the guy that shows up and doesn't follow through, or at least call back and say, hey, listen, I apologize for wasting your time, but I'm just slammed. I won't be able to do it.
Right. Well, I think a lot of them times they say when stuff slips through the crack, you get old. So, I mean, you are older. So, I mean, maybe it's just slipped through because you're losing your mind. So.
Man, I'll tell you that the amount of time and effort I put in this week, I'm sure I forgot to email or call someone back, or maybe a quick meeting that really wasn't at the top of my schedule. So
right.
it's been a very hectic couple weeks. So
right,
bro, where are you going that you're all dressed up?
I'm not going anywhere. I literally got a Blades Direct shirt on and like my button up.
He's going somewhere. He's going somewhere.
Yeah,
He's taking his wife to lunch or something.
No. I got house stuff to do.
Dude, you're happier. You're not in the attic. You're not in the basement. Like you got like freedom right now.
Bro, I just woke up like 30 minutes ago. I haven't had time to let reality set in and realize what's going on. And trust me, all the depression and the sadness is coming. Yeah. Oh my God, dog's gonna start acting up.
Yeah. The most amazing thing right now is that your internet is working.
Yeah. You get new internet?
That's because I'm on my phone. I think I've narrowed it down that it's my computer that is the culprit.
Interesting. So I know with it being busy and stuff, you do forget some stuff. I know that. I agree with you on that. Sometimes you forget a quote or to email a customer back. But try to be diligent, like I said before. Try to be diligent on setting expectations, and if you're gonna try to be somewhere at a certain time, try to let the customer know. If you're gonna be, late, I think that's one of the things, especially if you set up an appointment for an irrigation turn on and you can't make it because of one thing. Try to reschedule it as soon as you can. I think rescheduling is sooner than better than waiting till like literally that minute and being like, oh, guess what? I can't be there. I'm going to change that. I think, JC, you're going through that right now with people just, rescheduling and stuff. And you got to be on top of it and be ready to jump on it and get to it. Or like Josh said, let them know like, hey, I can't do this. If you can't do the job or you got too much on your plate, let the customer know right away. I think people will look at it better if they know that you are looking at that and you want that job, or if you're too busy, maybe they'll say, okay, well then I'll call this guy back, a month from now and say, maybe they'll be ready at that point. They don't know. You don't know what it is, but I think it's good business to do that.
I think in life, we sometimes often forget, not just business ends, but just like often forget to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. Like, and like right now with this, my little small project that I have going on, it sucks as a customer, like I want to get something done that I'm not able to do on my own. and I have to wait on somebody else to be ready to come and do it when I'm ready to pay for it to get it done. And had this been a perfect situation, they probably would have already been finished with the job that I'm asking to do. And it's like, so from a business end, as as an operator, like sometimes if you have to kind of put yourself in that customer's shoes, it does suck. And that's why Josh, it goes about it the right way is even if you do forget on something, try to make it right as best as you can. Contact the customer, just be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Be honest, be upfront. Try not to let that happen all the time, but yeah, again, another thing, like as Josh stated, delegate in work. Trying not to wear all the hats, because you are going to forget something. And if you have,
Right.
certain people to kind of handle certain things within the business that you trust, then that's always going to be a good thing, as long as the communication remains amongst everybody. That's where you're going to limit those flaws and limit those errors, and have the ability for those better reviews from customers and people calling you in more.
I will add to that, where from the all right, let's say from the tradesperson standpoint, if you are a customer inquiring about a particular job this time of year in any trade, realize for most trades this is the busiest time of year. This is tax return season. This is kids are out of school season. People are getting their stuff done. So also, like, contractors have to do their due diligence and be transparent, but I think consumers have to have a reality of what to expect this time of year, where like things are opportunities are slim to get good contractors in the door because of the amount of work that's going on, and you have to obviously limit your expectations as to what you're going to get. Again, like Jensen, I guarantee if you looked at this job probably back in November, you'd be done in probably a week, right? But this is prime time, and if you got a contractor like that to come to your home in the spring, he probably wasn't the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I think my gripe is more along the lines of communicating and being open as opposed to ghosting you. Because like the guy told me to give me he'd show up, he never showed up, and then he'd give me a price, never gave me a price. It's like, if he would just been like, hey, yeah, I could eventually do your job, and just understanding we are a little busy, because some people need to hear that. I think a little busy right now, so it might take a little while. If I don't reach you next this week, maybe I'll try for next week. Even that could kind of put someone a little more peace of mind. But if you just don't communicate with the customer and let them know, like, hey, it's not gonna be right away. I'm a little busy. If you're willing to deal with me being busy, then eventually I could get there. I think that communication is it's important.
I usually try to give a 3 to 4 day timeline for estimates, unless it's something really small. But I can't front and say that like I haven't. That hasn't happened to me where I may have forgotten one of the smaller estimates to write. It's definitely happened to me, and it may have happened this year. To be honest with you, who knows?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it sometimes can slip through the cracks. You always have that one that can slip through the cracks, but try to communicate as much as you can. I think that's the best thing. No matter which way you do it, especially anything you do promo wise. If you're gonna do postcards, awesome, signs, that's awesome. If you're gonna eat donuts, but just keep your head on the right way.
So, I had one today.
See, JC had one. No,
I'm there. Donut or a cigarette, one or the other.
It's been busy, I know that. But you remember, you got, like you said, Josh. Customers have to realize that we are busy at this time. I did have a customer yesterday. We were doing a bunch of work for her, and she was surprised that we showed up on a Saturday morning to do work, but she was also surprised that we got the job done, and she was happy. And she told me the same thing. She goes, you guys are busy at this time of year, and she goes, I understand that, and hopefully everybody else understands that you guys are doing this as fast as you can, and you're making sure that it looks beautiful for them. So I was kind of thankful for that, and thankful for everything we got. So I got one quick question here before we head out. and this is aimed to both of you because I want your thoughts on this. And I know, Josh, you're doing the 75-day hard with me. Okay. So when it says no alcohol, does that mean no beer battered shrimp or beer battered fries? Because my wife was going to put on beer battered fries last night, and then I was like, no, I can't have those. And it's got 2% alcohol in it.
You can I answer it?
Yeah, go ahead and answer it. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know both your thoughts. I'm just kind of like, what the heck?
I say you could have it because if it's beer battered, the alcohol is being cooked, and so you're not really having the alcohol.
Okay, that's a good one, Josh.
I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, you're not drinking it, what the fuck,
Right.
you know?
So as long as I'm
like
eating it, it's fine.
Yeah. It's not like you sit down having a beer or a cocktail. Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell?
Okay, so I can just go have my beer can chicken today then?
Yeah, so Scott's gonna be overdosed on shrimp tonight, trying to get a buzz.
Iodine.
Oh, I just wondered. I mean, I thought it was kind of. It's just one of those things because it says no alcohol. So I mean,
kids could have beer battered fries, so it's not like the kids are. I mean, again, though, but does that contradict your diet as far as aside of the alcohol? Beer battered fries a healthy thing that you're trying to do for 75 hard.
Even your wife's laughing in the background.
You don't need to focus on the alcohol. You need to focus on the cholesterol content.
Yeah.
Clogged arteries or dead liver?
Which way do you want to go, I guess? I mean,
I'll take the liver.
Yeah.
So it's 50-50 right now. It's okay on the alcohol sense, but it's not okay on the health
side. Yeah, the health side's not that bad. Good. So, but yeah. All right, guys. So we had a great talk. Josh, thank you for waking up and joining us for the last 15 minutes. It was good to have you on.
I got a quick question.
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
We all know what Twizzlers are, right? Like the candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, like they have like the black licorice.
Yeah.
Right.
Does anybody like black licorice? I think it's gross.
I think I am the only person on the fucking earth that likes black licorice.
That's nasty.
I don't know what it is. I love the smell. I love the taste. I love the look. I don't know. I am a massive fan of black licorice.
It's
you know what they say: if you go black, you never go back. So.
You're damn straight. Damn straight.
On licorice, that's what I mean. On licorice.
Write in the comments if you like black licorice.
Yes. Oh, you guys are funny. So, I think everything has everybody likes their certain things. I mean, I got one of my guys likes the smell of tar. So, I mean, I don't know what it is, but maybe that's what it is. I don't even know how to spell licorice, so I'm gonna probably mess it up. But there we go. We put it in the comments, guys. So, anything else? Anything you want to add, Josh? Because I mean, you've been gone and distant for like the last couple of weeks.
I've had a lot going on the past couple of weeks. So there's a lot. I mentally and physically running on fumes. So it's been a lot. I gotta sit down today and try to schedule my week and prioritize things and have hopefully some stillness and organize my thoughts as well. So it's been stressful. That's for sure.
I think that's what it is. I mean, the spring is always stressful. I mean, I think the same with you, Josh. It's been very, very hectic this year. Like I was telling JC, running the 2 crews this year, we're getting lots more calls, a lot more asking us if when we can do certain jobs, and we're keeping up with it as best as we can. It's this weather. The weather kind of puts a play on you too sometimes, and that's the hard part about it is when you get the weather and you're just busy because it's spring. That's what it is. It's spring. Everybody loves the spring rush, and it's always here. So
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we've had a great talk for the last hour. Not much more I can talk about this week, but we got some great stuff coming up for the next week. This is a great episode. If you guys want to hear other great episodes, go to Spotify, listen to us on Spotify, or go over to Landscapes by Acme YouTube page, and you can watch our podcast live pretty much every week. We're on in the mornings, and we have all the last episodes back in the podcast section. So go over there and check that out. And I want to thank Cujo for sponsoring the show. They have some really good shoes that I think of, but Josh is different. But we're
Send
all
me a
different.
pair of your pants.
Yeah. JC wants some pants. And have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all next week. Thank you all for joining us.